historic icons. Abraham Lincoln, the president who held America together. He was born in a log cabin and rose to the highest office in the land, leading a nation through its darkest hour. He was a storyteller, a statesman, and the man who held America together when it was tearing itself apart. Today, we're re-exploring the life and legacy of one of history's most towering figures, Abraham Lincoln. From his humble beginnings in Kentucky, Lincoln's early life was marked by hardship and a relentless thirst for knowledge. Though he had less than a year of formal schooling, he devoured every book he could get his hands on, teaching himself law, rhetoric, and philosophy. This self-made man worked as a rail splitter, a shopkeeper, and a postmaster before finding his true calling in politics. He moved to Illinois, where his wit and powerful arguments quickly earned him a reputation as an honest and formidable lawyer and legislator. Lincoln's political career began to take shape in the Illinois House of Representatives and later in the U.S. Congress. But it was his fierce opposition to the expansion of slavery that truly defined his rise. At the time, the country was a powder keg. The issue of slavery was not just a moral debate, it was an economic and political crisis threatening to shatter the nation. Lincoln argued that a house divided against itself cannot stand, believing that America could not continue as half slave and half free. His famous debates with Stephen Douglas in 1858, though he lost the Senate race, catapulted him onto the national stage. His clear, logical, and morally charged arguments made him the voice of the new Republican Party. In 1860, Lincoln won the presidency, but his victory was the final straw for the Southern states. Before he was even inaugurated, South Carolina seceded from the Union, and others soon followed. The Civil War had begun. Suddenly, this prairie lawyer was tasked with an unimaginable challenge, leading a fractured nation in a brutal war against itself. His primary goal was clear: to preserve the Union at all costs. He believed the secession was illegal and that the United States was a single, indivisible nation. The early years of the war were disastrous for the Union. Generals failed, battles were lost, and morale was dangerously low. Lincoln faced immense pressure, not just from the Confederacy, but from within his own government. His cabinet was full of rivals, many of whom thought they were better suited for the job. Abolitionists criticized him for not moving quickly enough against slavery, while others just wanted the war to end, even if it meant letting the South go. Through it all, Lincoln showed incredible resilience. He was a hands-on commander-in-chief, studying military strategy, appointing and firing generals, and constantly seeking a path to victory. As the war raged on, Lincoln's personal convictions deepened. He came to see that preserving the Union was inextricably linked with ending the institution of slavery. He knew it was a bold, risky move, but he felt it was a moral and military necessity. After the Union's strategic victory at the Battle of Antietam, Lincoln issued the preliminary Emancipation Proclamation in 1862. On January 1, 1863, it went into effect, declaring that all enslaved people in the Confederate States shall be thenceforward, and forever free. This monumental act transformed the purpose of the war. It was no longer just a fight to save the Union. It was now a crusade for human freedom. It also allowed for the enlistment of African American soldiers, who would fight bravely for their own liberation and for the future of the country. Lincoln's power was not just in his policies, but in his words. He was a master of language, able to inspire, comfort, and unify the nation with his speeches. Think of the Gettysburg Address. In just 272 words, delivered at the dedication of a cemetery for fallen soldiers, he redefined the meaning of the war and the promise of America. He spoke of a new birth of freedom and of a government of the people, by the people, for the people, ensuring that these soldiers had not died in vain. His words echoed the Declaration of Independence, framing the conflict as a struggle to uphold the nation's founding principles of liberty and equality for all. His second inaugural address, delivered just weeks before the war's end, is another masterpiece. Instead of gloating in victory, he called for healing and reconciliation, with malice toward none, with charity for all, setting a tone of grace and unity for the difficult task of reconstruction ahead. In April 1865, the Confederate Army surrendered. The war was over. The Union was saved. Lincoln had achieved the impossible. The nation celebrated, and for a brief moment, it seemed a peaceful, unified future was finally within reach. Lincoln was already working on his plans for Reconstruction, aiming to bring the Southern states back into the Union with compassion and fairness, not punishment. He wanted to heal the nation's wounds and build a lasting peace. But that future was tragically cut short. Just 5 days after the surrender, on April 14, 1865, Abraham Lincoln was assassinated while attending a play at Ford's Theater. The man who had saved the nation was gone. The country was plunged into mourning. His death was a devastating blow, and the path to Reconstruction would become far more difficult without his guiding hand. Abraham Lincoln's legacy is woven into the very fabric of America. He led the country through its most perilous trial, preserved the Union, and through the Emancipation Proclamation, initiated the end of slavery. His life is a testament to the power of integrity, courage, and moral conviction. He proved that leadership is not about being perfect, but about striving to do what is right, even in the face of overwhelming opposition. His vision of a unified nation dedicated to the principles of equality and freedom continues to inspire generations, reminding us of the enduring promise of American democracy. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey through the life of Abraham Lincoln. If you found this story as inspiring as we do, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into historic icons. We'll see you in the next video.